In 2023, the FBI reported pig butchering scams with losses topping almost $3 billion. What we're talking about is a new and very sophisticated scam where predators stalk their prey, fatten them up, and go in for the kill. These scams actually have two victims: the person being scammed, and in most cases, the person doing the scamming. That's right, the people doing the pig butchering are victims too. Human trafficking victims being forced to steal your money. Now, Tracy and Greg were looking for a high-yield investment opportunity, but it sure didn't turn out the way they hoped.
We sold our house last year, and we took the proceeds of the money, which was over $100,000, and set it aside. Greg really wanted to invest the money. About 10 months later, Greg told me that he'd been following on YouTube, the Real Estate Ninja.
He has a real estate course. I asked if it would be something to do. He said, just hold your money.
I don't think the course is for you. And then later that day, Greg said, Travis, the real estate ninja, he contacted me again and he left a phone number. So before long, Greg and Travis were texting throughout the day.
He suggested that we put it into this investment platform. They use crypto.
So the platform was called MetroCap Trading, and he had us set up a basic account. It looked legitimate. And he said that the next step would be to wire the money to a Chase bank account. We went ahead and wired $100,000 so they could use that into the cryptocurrency platform.
I was pretty excited.
So the next day, I got an email saying that we had received $21,000 in interest.
And I thought, wow. And then day two, got another email saying there's $21,000 in there.
$42,000 in 2 days?
And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
You've heard me say it before. Real change starts with real understanding, and that's why I've had Dr. Daniel Amen on my show many times over the years. At Amen Clinics, they do something different. They look at your brain. With nearly 300,000 brain scans from patients in over 155 countries, they take the guesswork out of mental health care. Anxiety, depression, trauma, memory issues. If you're struggling, it's time for answers. Call 866-580-6569 or go to amenclinics.com/Dr. Phil and take the first step. Call 866-580-6569 or go to amenclinics.com/Dr. Phil. Now, Tracy and Greg's elation over their sudden windfall, well, it didn't last long.
Travis sent another message saying that if we could come up with another $50,000, we would qualify for this promotion. And I told him, we don't have that money.
Looking at this issue now, there is really nothing for you to lose investing in the promo, but everything to gain. If you proceed with the promo, you get to receive $60K within 5 days of deposit. Then you can withdraw as much as you want. If you decide to neglect this offer, on the other hand, we will have complications with your account.
I just didn't feel good about it. And I sent a voice message to him. I was in poverty most of my life. And I was telling him, I'm afraid to put it in there. So after being urged into tears, I went to Twitter and looked up Real Estate Ninja. And right at the top of his profile, I will never ask anyone for cash.
And I thought, oh crap.
That's when I learned that we were pig butchered.
And until this day, we've not recovered any of our monies.
You guys paid a high price for your education, right?
Yes.
How much total?
$100,000.
Wow. And I don't want to rub salt in your wound, but how long did it take you to accumulate that?
A lifetime.
A lifetime.
And how long did it take for it to disappear?
An instant.
Just that quick?
Yep.
Were you at all familiar with this type of scam?
We're just familiar with the typical scams. You get an email that says your delivery there's a problem with it, or, the things that seem obvious. Those are the kind of scams that we were aware of, but I never knew something this sophisticated was in existence.
Yeah. And you were first contacted by the scammer on YouTube?
Yeah, I listened to a guy called Real Estate Ninja. I'd listened to him for several months. I was familiar with his voice, what he did, and then he was offering a real estate course that I was interested in. So I reached out to him to see if that was something that a novice like me that's never done real estate would be qualified for.
And what did he say?
He said, no, hold on to your money.
Yeah. And so what happened next?
Next thing was I was contacted by somebody that sounded exactly like Real Estate Ninja. And I mean, exactly like him. All the voice inflections, the mannerisms. And he said, I'd like to talk to you about maybe being able to reach your goal of by March of having additional income to put into a new home for yourself.
And what kind of returns were they telling you would make?
21%, which I thought, who is giving 21% interest these days?
What did you say to yourself that convinced you to keep moving forward?
That I tend to wear the pants in our relationship, and and I'm the one who's always doing the finances. And poor Greg, I don't really give him, I suppose, the opportunity to do anything with finances. And I thought, this is really important to Greg, and it's time that I let go of control and listen to his advice.
So are you saying now on national television, the one time you let him make a decision?
I'm sorry, honey.
It's my fault.
He ran. The one time you let him do something, he ran it off in the ditch. Is that what you're here to tell us?
Yes, but now he knows that he should trust me.
Okay, this show just took a left turn. So where did Tracy and Greg's money really end up? And why can't they get it back? The answer gets a whole lot scarier than you might think. Homeowners, when's the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles and your equity is the target. Criminals forge your signature, and just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Phil at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you'll get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title. Urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code Phil. Well, we're back with Tracy and Greg, who got scammed in what's called a pig butchering scam. In this case, we're talking about getting in contact with a mark, building trust, getting them to make, an investment, and reeling them in, and then they take your money, and in some cases just disappear, just ghost you. In other cases, it gets much darker than that. Now, Tracy says they received emails from Metro Capital Trading, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that at first you got back a big return, right? They gave you at least documentation that you earned $21,000.
In one day.
In one day. And then $42,000 in 2 days.
Yes.
So you guys were doing the happy dance in the living room, right?
Well, Greg was.
Okay.
I was happy. I wasn't suspecting that it was a scam, though, because I really trusted the person who we thought was the real estate ninja.
And where did you think the profits were coming from?
Well, it was the result of cryptocurrencies, precious metals investments that they said they did. Mm-hmm. And so I knew of crypto. I didn't ever dabble in it, but I knew there was a movement towards some high returns on it. So I thought they had an inside track. I'd had to rely on somebody that knew what they were doing.
Yeah. And was that someone, Travis?
Yeah.
And I even texted Travis and said, you know what I'd like to do? I would like to withdraw our capital, our principal, and just let the money that we've already earned in interest remain in there to build up more. And I was just saying that because I wanted our $100,000 back, but I didn't want to let on to that person. Well, I still was thinking it was the real guy, but I didn't want to let on that I was beginning to have serious doubts.
And he wanted you to do this promo thing, right?
Yeah.
He was just really persistent in pushing us to invest our last few $1,000s. And he said that we needed to have 50,000, which we didn't have. But he said, the promo, you've got to have 50,000. If you can just put in what you can, then I will cover the rest out of my own account because I really like you and Greg and I consider you friends and I want to do this for you.
Yeah. Okay. Did that set off warning bells?
Yeah. I felt there was something that was going to be required afterward. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
I said that this gets really dark and people like Tracy and Greg actually get trafficked into this. Now, how does that happen? A former FBI investigator specializing in pig butchering and Southeast Asian-based cryptocurrency scams says these scams are not only high-tech, but play on people's lack of knowledge about cryptocurrency and the desire to get rich and get rich quick.
Cyber fraud has cost billions of dollars of loss in the United States. The common thread with all these cyber crimes is the victim is met or approached on some type of social media application or dating app or through a text message. After that, the scammer moves over to an encrypted app. Within a couple of days, the scammer will show them their elaborate lifestyle, and they'll explain that they obtained that lifestyle through investing in cryptocurrency. This is where the scam gets scary. The scammer convinces the victim to invest the funds they have on hand in this incredibly convincing application that they download onto their cell phone. It looks like a cryptocurrency stock market application. It looks perfect. And it's showing what they just deposited is going up in value immensely, but it's all fake. At some point, the victim wants to withdraw those dollars, and that's when the gig's up. Their account's frozen, and they realize that they've been scammed. What's really happening is the funds are being laundered through the cryptocurrency blockchain until it arrives at an exchange owned by a Southeast Asian actor. And the bosses tend to be Chinese nationals operating out of those countries, who then cash out that cryptocurrency for their own international currency. In the FBI's most recent annual report, they estimated loss amounts of cybercrime to $10 billion. I've personally talked to tons of victims who have lost millions of dollars. Most victims don't get any help and don't get any money back.
I've seen it all, from folks stuck in toxic relationships to people whose houses look like a tornado went through a craft store. But there's one problem I see plaguing America, and it ain't on the couch. It is the couch. Hideline offers customizable leather options so you can pick the color that fits your style. They've got specialized hybrid foam and pocketed coil cushion systems to help you sit comfortably for hours. For a limited time, you can get 10% off store-wide and free shipping with code Dr. Phil 10 at hideline.com. Jason, thanks for being here. You've worked with more than 800 of these cases, right?
Yes, sir, I have.
And where is their $100,000 right now?
Cashed out at some exchange by somebody from Southeast Asia.
Will they ever see it again?
At that point, no.
It's gone.
It's gone.
They have no recourse, no way to get this back.
Yeah, once it's cashed out at an exchange and turns into liquid currency, then it goes through its own money laundering, typically through casinos throughout Southeast Asia.
These scams are far worse than just sending money to a hacker in some basement somewhere. Why is that?
It's because the scammers are themselves victims.
How's that happening?
So the billionaire bosses, they put out ads for employment to China, Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam. And these folks look at these ads and they travel down to Myanmar, Laos, or Cambodia, thinking they're gonna have a customer service job. When they arrive, these thugs take away their cell phones, take away their passports, and they're forced to one of hundreds of these compounds and forced to do pig butchering scams. If they don't produce, they're tortured or even murdered.
These compounds they go into, some of them are right in the middle of the city. Some of them might be apartment complex or whatever, but these are places that are guarded by thugs with automatic weapons, et cetera, and they don't have food, they're basically held captive in a sweatshop, and they have to produce, and you could be talking to someone that was victimized the same way you were, and they're trying to get their money back. They can be tortured, beaten, as you said, murdered. They just disappear off the face of the earth. And we're talking about a couple of 100,000 people on the Pacific Rim. I mean, this is spread out in a really big way.
Yeah, when we talk about any given time, these pig butchering scammers or human traffic scammers, we're talking 20 to 30,000 people in 100 different compounds.
Now, Neo was human trafficked into one of these compounds for 7 months and forced into a torture chamber for 18 days. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up. The video you're about to see is extremely graphic. It was taken and sent to Neo's family for ransom. He was held for 7 months and then tortured in this way and others for 18 days. Joining us now from an undisclosed location is Neo.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dr. Phil.
When this all started, you thought you were going for a job interview, is that right?
Yeah, a gig, a translator gig in Thailand.
When did things turn really dark and get out of control? When did it go wrong?
Well, initially, I was getting picked up in the Bangkok airport, but things got changed when I saw some straw-hat man with a machete in the hand, and I know I am totally doomed because I have to follow their instruction, otherwise it could go sideways.
Why were you being tortured in that video?
Oh, because I want to leave. And I told them I had already reached out to New York Times journalist, and it is my ultimate message to them. I am done with that. And I had to smuggle out some information they do not want to disclose because all they care is about their personal identity. Because I am fully aware that if I dare take any photo of their, let's say, portraits to disclose their facial image of any sorts, I will be dead.
How did you eventually get loose? How did you get rescued?
I somehow managed to reach out to my family in discreet, and I told my family the only way to get me out of there is to find a broker who could establish a dialogue with local military who is providing protections for those scam compounds. And I was released from that brokerage.
I appreciate you sharing this information, the pictures, the story that makes all of this all too real. Is there anything that you want to say that we haven't talked about?
Oh, yes, definitely. I wish to make a plea to all the audience because I want you to understand, if I was not rescued, if I was still trapped in those concentration camps in Burma, I will be scamming you because I have no other options. If I want to survive, I have to scam you, and I will not be able to leave those concentration camps. I implore you, the citizens of the free world, to pressure your government to act on it, because it is not just your money, it is anti-human trafficking. Do the right thing. Do the good thing.
Well said, and thank you so much for talking about it, Neo. I appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Next, we'll meet a man who was pig butchered and now spends his days fighting back and scamming the scammers. We'll be right back. We are now joined on stage by Troy, and you too were scammed. When you first got contacted, how did they find you? Where were you and how did you get contacted?
It was on Facebook dating and met this person who supposedly lived in Seattle. They were of supposedly Asian heritage. One parent was in Ukraine, one parent was in another country, whatever. And they owned 5 clothing stores there in Ukraine. And we're here now, and as they told me, making lots of money in cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. And then they would send me other pictures of this wealth that they had through cryptocurrency. And then eventually, she got to the point where she told me, hey, maybe you could do this with me.
You eventually got burned for over $25,000.
Yes.
And now you work scamming the scammers. So how does that work?
That's right. So several victims got together, formed an organization called the Global Anti-Scam Organization. Our job was to, first of all, learn about what actually happened, learn more about these scams. One way that we learned about it was by talking with scammers. So they would still reach out to us, and we would chat with them, pretend to be the victim. Through that, we could get websites, we could get other wallet addresses. We could see through tracing how the money was moving. Mm-hmm. And we could also see how their scams were evolving over time.
Are y'all surprised how sophisticated this is?
I heard that in Cambodia, where a lot of these compounds are, they make $12 billion a year on pig butchering. That's about the size of their GDP.
Yeah.
They're hitting everybody in the entire world.
The pig butchering scammers love to work through the wrong number text. That's another thing that people have to look out for. You get a text message to your phone that looks like it's designed for somebody else. No, it was designed for them. It's designed to start that conversation.